spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scaryish podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, this is Adam Diaz,
Hello.
and we just got back from Mexico.
Indeed, we did. I am quite tired. However, I will say we had a pretty good time in Mexico. I think that's a pretty good way to say that.
Yeah.
Don't know if you agree. We'll get into that a little bit, but tonight we're going to be doing Storytime. Robin, we're going to be reading those things called homegrown horrors. What is a homegrown horror?
Homegrown horrors are the stories of paranormal, supernatural, spiritual experiences that you, your family, your friends have had, and you take the time out of your day to send them to us, and we get to read them to the rest of our spooky friends. And they range from things that scare the pants off of us to things that make us laugh, said pants off.
Yeah,
so
it's very true. So if you have a story that you would like to share with us, you can email storytime@scaryish.com. You can also go to facebook.com/scaryish podcast and hit us up on Facebook. You can also join the Spooky Friends group if you want to post it there for some instant feedback. And then you can hit us up on our other social medias. Twitter is @scariyishpod. Instagram is @scaryish podcast. And you can also you can also go to our website, scaryish.com. Click on Contact Us. That comes directly to us. So before we move into the stories, I'm just going to say a couple things. First of all, we have 4 stories tonight. We both have one short, one long. So that's fun. Secondly, it is January, and you know what that means. It is January Patreon push. So go over to patreon.com/Scaryish podcast. They are monthly donations. You can sign up. It's as little as $1 a month. 4 quarters, 10 dimes, 20 nickels, and you can go ahead and get early access to all of our content and ad-free access to all of our content, which is pretty fucking choice. So, that said, let me move into some other stuff. When we were in Mexico, shout out to Woo Scaryish, who just subscribed.
Thank you so
for
much.
the 9th month using their Twitch Prime. So
I heard it from the speaker.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that we actually have some live audio now. We went down to Mexico. It's not a secret. We went down to Mexico for a vacation, and on the way down there, we were like, we need to bring with us a catchphrase for our trip. And the one that we had been workshopping was choice. So instead of saying tight or toit or noise, it would be choice. But you have to say it like your teeth are holding it back, and then it just falls out of your mouth.
That's just you.
Choice. It's fun. So eventually it wound up transforming into choizen, which is a mixture of choice and poison. So when we were doing shots, we would shout it out. It's already been actually said in our stream chat by MJ and Jay, who are watching us right now from Mexico. And they say, tan and beautiful, Robin. Indeed, you
thanks.
are.
Yeah, I was looking in the mirror earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so tan now.
I will say that the catchphrase I liked the most from our trip down there is something we've actually said before, but it just made a comeback. So if you ever have a goofy picture, or you do something silly, or maybe you do something badass, and you just want to describe yourself, or you want to describe what you're doing, or maybe a friend of yours does something, you can do #ThisGuyFucks.
I feel like that should just keep in that group. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's so good that it has to go out into the world. In fact, I've already stated it once on our social media. Someone posted a meme that was about rather than have sex, choose paranormal activity. It's paranormal activity instead of sexual activity. You show me the meme.
Yeah.
And so I went on the Spooky Friends group on the official Scaryish podcast account, and I commented well, funny, Scaryish does not endorse this message. #ThisPodcastFucks.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and take that and put it out into the world, we fully encourage you to do that. Anyways, that's everything I got before we start reading. We both have emails. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
Let me start. My first one's short, so it'll be short and sweet. All right, so this subject is psychic experience. Cool. And it goes, Hi. Hello. My name's Aaliyah. I just started listening to you guys, so I'm pretty behind on your podcast. Good for you. There's a huge backlog, and you can take all the time in the world to go through it.
Indeed. It'll be waiting for you, so take
We've
your time.
had people comment I'm going through this the second or third time through, and we're like, oh my god,
it's pretty
you
awesome.
guys are so awesome. I've always had psychic experiences / spooky stuff happen to me, even when I was a kid. I used to wake up every night and see shadow people, but it gave off a safe presence, so I wouldn't care and would go back to sleep. Honestly,
how do shadow people give off a safe presence?
But it happens to a lot of people. And
I know.
It's just
imagine it would be absolutely terrifying. I can't picture it in my brain. That's
sometimes when I am up late, I just get creepy feelings, and it's just because my mind is playing tricks on me. It's not because anything is actually happening, but I just kind of get weird feelings what if that shadow's more than just a shadow? What if it's darker than usual, you know?
Wow.
Like Darkness Falls type of stuff.
Like with the evil tooth fairy?
Yeah.
Have you lost a tooth recently?
No, but I'm just
safe.
saying, what if shadows move? You know what I mean? So
your mind plays tricks on you and you start reading into the things around the room.
And so sometimes I just have to tell myself, like, just go to sleep. Don't even think about it. That you're just overthinking it.
Yeah, like what if all those clothes on that chair over there are somehow populated by a shadow demon? It's so true though. Like in the middle of the night, you see the shadow of something and you know exactly what it is, but it just looks more terrifying.
So I watched the Bye Bye Man recently on Netflix.
I watched that one with you, actually.
Yeah, and it was like the coat came to life or something from the wall.
Yeah,
that was weird. But
it wasn't as terrible as a movie as I thought it was going to be.
But you knew something was going to happen with that pile of clothes.
Right.
You know? All right, continuing on. I'm now 18, and I had this exercise when I was 17. I had a very odd dream about being at my aunt's house and doing witchcraft rituals.
Rituals? That's the best thing I've ever heard.
No, doing witchcraft.
Shout out to Dre, who just resubscribed.
Thank you so much.
For the 6th month using their own money. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, if you guys have Amazon Prime, you can link your Twitch. It's completely free. You get Twitch Prime included with your Amazon Prime. And with your Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription to whatever channel of your choice. Once every...
Well played.
Once every 28 to 30 days or something like that. So go ahead and do that. And
hopefully you choose us.
Yeah, hopefully you choose us.
Let us be your choice.
Jesus. Okay. Anyway, continuing on. So, odd dream about being at my aunt's house and doing witchcraft rituals. I don't know why it keeps coming out like sounding like
witchcraft rituals.
It's like wispy. Okay. So I dreamed of a circle of fire and a wig made out of human bones. So keep this in mind.
It's pretty gross.
I woke up and told my mom about it. She thought it was odd, but later that day, she got a call from my frantic aunt saying that her friend, who is very clairvoyant, told her she was cursed. Her friend was contacted by someone on the other side, and they told her my aunt was cursed. She already had suspicions of this because her marriage felt as if it was falling apart. That's depressing. It's
that is depressing.
By the way, you're cursed. Your marriage is falling apart. Fuck you.
Statistically, then, most people are cursed then, because I'm just saying most marriages fail.
One of the rituals they had to do to get rid of the curse was a circle of fire. They also had a ritual where human bones appeared in my aunt's friend's hair.
That's a pretty weird fucking ritual.
So it's like they had a dream. Like they had
of
this
something
clairvoyant
that was to
dream.
come.
Right. Wait, is that clairvoyance when you see the future?
I don't know if that's clairvoyance when you see the future. That's premonition, maybe? Clairvoyance is like when you see things you're not supposed to know, but I don't know if it's past or present. I don't know if it's... Let me just put it this way. I don't know if clairvoyance is restricted to the future only.
Okay. Since then, I've predicted the birth of my niece and the death of my uncle. That's...
Sad.
Sad. Both happy and
awesome.
sad.
Yeah.
Thanks for reading. Love the podcast. Heart. Thank you so much, Aaliyah. I think it's funny because you've predicted a couple things, too.
I have. Pretty freaking accurately, too.
My mom always calls me and tries to say, well, I had a dream about this, and you should stay away from this. And...
It's like, you should stay away from water 3 days before we're flying to Japan last year.
I know. I was like, what? No, she did the same thing, too. Before we went to Mexico, she's like... I had a premonition, not a premonition, but I had a dream that you should stay away from water. And I'm like, I'm about to fucking go to Mexico where it's just water.
And she lives in Hawaii. So
I
it's
was just like,
I will make sure I stay away from like the middle of the ocean, but I'll skirt the outsides. How about that?
So it was just funny to me. But yeah. Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Thank you for sending that in. That's a really good example of how we get stuff through Instagram, because I believe mine is going to be on Instagram, or from Instagram as well.
We've had a couple from Instagram. I know I took one from Instagram yesterday or the day before yesterday. We've been getting a few, and we thank you guys so much for keep sending us all that stuff. So if you have any stories, please send them. Send them our way.
Indeed. So before we move on, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And we're back. So I'm going to move on to my first email of the show, and this one is from Princess Anna 14 on Insta, otherwise known as Instagram. And it literally just jumps straight into it. It was 2 a.m. Maybe. It's pretty good. I like that. It's a good attention getter. Also, hello. You didn't say hello, but I'll say hello to you.
I'm sure in the Instagram they said hello.
Yeah, and then for whatever reason, we just copied over the story. It continues. But I woke up from a dream and felt like something was watching me. My room is a small but big room. I don't know what your room looks like. I'm picturing a small room in the middle of a giant room.
What?
Like a room where you built your own walls. Like you live in the closet of a room. I don't know. It's hard to tell. All I know is your room is small but big. My bed was against the wall facing the door. My brother's room was in front of my room on the other side of the hall. I have a bathroom that usually has a light on, but it was off for some reason. But I woke up and I felt like I was still in a dream, like sleep paralysis. But I wasn't. I sat up in my bed and looked around my room. I noticed that a black figure was in my brother's room, which at the time had the lights off.
This episode's all about shadow people.
It sounds like it, yeah. I noticed it was not my brother because he was not home at the time. It was about 6'11", but I could see no eyes. It's huge. Were you like, oh my god, it's terrifying, but it's so tall? You've never seen that meme where it's like the devil shows up and like is being like super scary, like, I'm here to take you to hell, and it's like girl is like, oh my god, how tall are you? He's like,
what?
I don't know, 6'5", 6'11" with the horns maybe. She's like, oh my god, shut up, you're so funny.
Oh my gosh.
That's what this reminds me of.
Never, okay.
It's a funny meme. Anyways, but I felt like it was looking straight into my eyes and all of my nerves were on edge and I was so scared I could not move. It felt like hours when I got the courage to turn on the light in my room, but I just wouldn't budge. It was like I was stuck and the figure would come closer and closer when I looked away from the spot it was in. So it's like a weeping angel at this point. But I finally got up and turned on the light as fast as I could. When I turned on the light, the figure was gone. Like nothing was even in the room. I was very shook and didn't feel like I could go back to sleep.
Shook.
So I kept my light on and waited until morning came. I have no idea what happened that night or what it was. I have not told anyone this story because they think that I was imagining it or still dreaming. But I have still been searching on what that thing was. Thank you for reading my story, even though it's not that scary. But I love the podcast and can't wait for more.
Thank you so much.
Just FYI, your story is horrifying. So I don't know about that, not that scary. It was either a 6'11" intruder in your home or some form of shadow person or demon or ghost. And in any case, that is absolutely horrifying. So, yeah, it was very scary. And thank you for sending that in.
The hard thing about weird, strange things that happen in the middle of the night are people are going to be like, you're probably dreaming, or it was a trick of your imagination, or something like that, because that's just the time of day, and even if you did see something, no one will ever believe it.
It's the easiest way to discount someone when you don't want to like actually confront that they may have had something happen to them. Is like, oh, you were tired. Like, it was late at night. It's like, yes, those things are true. Something also could have happened. It's like, no. Nothing bad has ever happened at night when someone's tired and it's dark out. Period. That's just how it goes. And, yeah, I believe you. I think something absolutely happened. I have no idea what it was, and hopefully it was something completely benign, or maybe it was a play of a shadow or something along those lines. But if you felt like you were frozen in fear, yeah, that's a horrible feeling. So yeah. Thank you for sending that in.
So this one's from Ashley, and its subject is, the house isn't haunted. I am. That's definitely a catcher, like an attention grabber right there. Hey guys. Hello.
Hello.
I'm a listener on Spotify.
Shout out Spotify.
I just expect you to say it all the time. And I really love your show. I'm still nowhere near caught up, but I have a ton of stories to tell and feel free to share them. I have a really bad long-term memory, but your shows managed to trigger old things that I completely forgot even happened.
Recovered memories.
But today, I want to tell you about a recent event. First off, I need to explain my situation a little bit. I've always had the ability to know when something supernatural was around. Now, I don't mean that I see dead people. I mean in the sense that I get this feeling deep in my chest or gut that something just isn't right. I don't know if it's really unique or not, but it is what it is. Everywhere I have lived, everywhere I've gone, if I was alone, I would either feel or see the shadow lurking just outside my vision. This episode is all about shadow people.
We must have had an episode 2 months ago or whatever where it was all about shadow people and everyone sent in their shadow people emails.
I'm not necessarily afraid of it being there, but it does often scare the crap out of me with some of the things it does. I'm very much used to the small things it does, moving things slightly when I'm not looking, knocking items over or making them fall, making minor noises, and occasional whispers.
The other stuff wasn't that bad, but the whispers part is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, how are you okay with whispers? That's just... Nope. It's not an everyday occurrence like it used to be when I was a teenager, especially now that I'm rarely alone since I have kids and am married now. Usually that feeling in my gut tips me off that something's going to happen soonish, but a few weeks ago I had no such warning. Like I said, it usually happens when I'm alone, but this time I wasn't technically alone as I was in bed next to my sleeping husband. Our bed is in the corner of the room with a window at the end of the bed and an end table just below the window. I'll include a drawing of what it looks like since I'm bad at describing it. It was the dead of night around 3-ish in the morning. Typically, I wake up at least once in the middle of the night, naturally. However, this night I was startled out of sleep by a massive clap of thunder. When my eyes snapped open, I was laying on my side. Once I realized it was just thunder, I rolled over to my back and realized there was a figure at the end of the bed.
Oh, God. Hopefully it's just someone coming in, like, that lives there and isn't, a shadow person.
I mean, but
something terrifying like that.
If someone were living there and did that, it's like if I walked into your mom's room and stood there and just stared at her in the dark.
It would be, horrifying.
Horrifying. I assumed it was one of the children scared by the storm, and it was about the size of my oldest son. It was very solid with a distinct shoulder outline. See, this goes back to having intruders and stuff like that. It freaks me out.
It's like when the good news is possibly that your house is being intruded upon and not that it's haunted. Like, that's pretty terrifying.
I could very clearly see the head as well as the arms. It looked like a person, and all previous times I had seen the entity, it was just kind of a black mass, so no alarms went off in my mind that it might not be an actual person standing there. Instead of the typical looming over the bed, it was pressed against the wall like it was trying to blend in with the curtains, similar to the way a child hides behind a corner waiting for their friend to run past in order to jump out and scare them. Thinking it was my son, I asked it, "Hey, what are you doing out of bed?" Then,
so there was someone else in the house.
Oh my god, oh my god!
She's right ahead. While I interrupted. Let's see what happens.
Then it moved to face me more head on. It was then I realized that it was taller than I assumed and looked more like my brother. Very confused, I sat up and said my brother's name in confusion. Cade? I reached out to grab his arm, and just before I touched it, the figure recoiled back and faded to nothing. It was then, I have chills. It was then that my brain seemed to fully wake up and realized that the figure was solid black with no actual facial features, and that my brother would not randomly be sitting at the end of my bed in the middle of the night.
I think it's funny that it disappeared when you went to reach out for it. Like, well, I didn't expect that shit.
Yeah.
I was just here to scare someone. She tried to touch me. Ew, humans.
Thoroughly creeped out, I laid back down and tried to calm down my heart rate. What if it's fucking aliens?
I don't think aliens can disappear, though. I don't know. I don't have my stat sheet with me to check and see what aliens are capable of doing.
I laid back down and tried to calm down my heart rate. A few moments later, my younger son started calling "Mommy, Mommy" from his room. I went into his room to see what was wrong. He's very young, not even old enough to be in school yet, but can talk very well. He just said he was scared of the storm, something he's never been scared of before and is still not afraid of. He absolutely refused to go back to sleep without a light or the TV on for noise. This is exactly what I used to do as a child when I could feel something around me and didn't want to see or hear it. I did some looking into it before this incident because I have had many other experiences, and it turns out my family has a pattern where the firstborn will have similar things happen to them. That's terrifying.
But only the firstborn.
It happened to my grandmother, my mother, and then me. I said that I have an older son, but he is not biologically mine. My younger son is actually my firstborn child. This isn't the first time we've had linked experiences, and I worry that he will be haunted too. Oh my god, I have chills, dude. That's so scary. I have a ton more experience to tell, and I will send them in if you like this one. Thanks for listening, and please don't think I'm crazy, Ash. Totally send us in your other ones.
We do not think you're crazy.
We do not think you're crazy. That is super duper scary.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, because I don't have kids, when I hear scary stories and stuff that happens to people, I'm always looking at it from my own perspective. But I know how dramatically everything changes when you have a child,
Yeah.
So when something happens to you, it's scary. It's scary in the way that it's scary to me. But then the idea that there's another level of like fear that I can't relate to, where all of a sudden, once the horrifying thing vanishes, I hear my kid screaming, like, That is a level of fear that I do not yet know, and I don't know how I would handle it. And I feel so bad if your kid is going to start having the same experience as you, but at the very least, your kid has someone there to make them feel like they're not crazy, because there are a lot of people who would just try and deny that they've ever had something like that happen. Then tell someone else, like, you're not actually seeing anything, and make them feel isolated and alone.
Yeah.
And I feel like when a person gets backed into that spot, it creates like a lot of negative energy that stuff like that can feed on. So, it's good that you are who you are, so you can help, like, guide your kid through this. So. Doesn't make seeing shadow people any better.
Nope.
Lots of shadow people this episode.
Yeah. Every single story so far.
Yeah.
And we're on story number 3, so. All right.
I'm going to go ahead and move into my and the final email of the show. This one was submitted on the website, and the subject is Update Sleep Paralysis Spooktacular.
Nice.
It's a pretty good subject.
It's a solid title.
And it starts out like this. Hey, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for putting me first. Most people put her first, which I am mostly okay with. My name is Addie, and I'm 25 years old from Norwich in the UK. I probably said that wrong, and you're probably rolling your eyes right now. You might remember me as the guy that never shuts up on the Spooky Friends Facebook group, or as Citizen Spooks on the Discord server. I'm a longtime follower thanks to Spotify, and I love the podcast. Shout out to Spotify.
Well, thank you for being such an active member of our community.
Indeed. It means that I definitely know who you are. I'm not recognizing the name because I don't see the name right now, because I am always on the Spooky Friends group on Facebook. Anyways, I share the sentiment of many in that it feels like listening to two of your friends talking about spooky stuff, and it's awesome.
Nice.
You might also recall that I reached out to you guys late last year with a spooky experience surrounding sleep paralysis and the incredible harrowing tale of the Peggy doll. A brief synopsis of this little terror.
Scared the fuck out of me.
The Hamburglar has redeemed and asked a question. Says, hey, am I interrupting? Just trying to prolong the love and the episode.
Thank you so much.
You're never interrupting. Thank you for sharing. All right. Can I get back to it? The Peggy the doll thing. Quick recap. A brief synopsis. Peggy the doll is a doll that is possessed by two spirits, one rather complacent and the other not so much. The legend goes that any experience of this doll from visiting her in the museum, I think it's in Zach Bagel Bites museum, or even acknowledging her existence can lead her to, quote, attach to you and cause spooky things happening in your life. I do remember this. It's like if you're rude to the doll, then creepy stuff can happen. Yeah. These can be one-off incidents or become prolonged. As you'll find out reading this, my experience was the latter. Another podcast I listened to covered the subject, and I, being a curious person, decided to research her. Bad idea. I saw a photo of her, and cheesy as it may be, got total chills every moment I spent looking it up. I can totally confirm that shit happens. Sometimes you're doing research, or we're doing research on the show, and I get creeped out. Like, I go turn on the hallway light, because I'm like, I just feel really, really creeped out. Not like a Bagul situation where I saw something in a picture, and it's going to murder me within like 7 days, or whatever that happens in that stupid movie. But like... It gets creepy sometimes looking up creepy stuff.
It does get really creepy. I know I sit here and my back is to the open door, and then there's another open door right behind that, and so I just see this dark, hall or whatever, and it freaks me out, and I will have to turn on the hallway light for sure, or close the office door.
So it happens. I understand getting creeped out. So let's get back into the story. It says, fast forward to bedtime that night. I wish I could fast forward to bedtime every night. I was awoken in my first ever episode of sleep paralysis at what a look at the clock after the fact revealed to be 3 a.m. and was unable to move. This repeated every month for probably around a year on exactly the same day, the 25th, at exactly the same time, 3 a.m. The happenings were always very similar. That's creepy as shit that it's like clockwork. The happenings were always very similar. I would be laid on my back, head slightly propped up, as to see the end of my bed. I couldn't move, obviously. There would be a light breathing in my right ear, not heavy or angry, almost like it knew what it was doing there.
Shut the front door.
I don't know.
Maybe it's the tilting your head up thing, and you know what I mean? Like, you have a pillow that's holding your head up.
That's usually when I have sleep paralysis, is when my head's tilted.
That might be why. I don't know. Maybe it's something with how you're breathing, or something like that. I don't know. I always sleep. A lot of the time, my pillow goes missing. It like floats up, or I float down, and end up in the morning.
She sleeps in ridiculous positions.
In the morning, I'm usually not even sleeping on a pillow. So
she's usually sleeping on her arms, and she shoved her pillows like into my area along with her elbows and knees. It's just a bloodbath. All right, so we're going to get back to your experience. You have this you have this breathing in your right ear. Now for the creepy part. Buckle in.
That's not creepy?
Apparently not. Buckle in, buckaroos. Each time, without fail, on my bedroom dresser, which was parallel to the bottom of my bed, an old Victorian-looking china doll would be sat there looking directly at me.
Dolls are just terrifying.
Yeah.
I say that as I look down at the dolls on our desk.
And we have a bunch of dolls over there, too.
Oh, man.
So it's
those don't count, though. Those are like plushies.
Okay. So a Victoria-looking china doll was sitting there looking directly at him. It was wearing a long, frilly, in parentheses, what I presume to be white on account of the lighting, dress. Whilst it didn't do anything, it gave off a very menacing vibe. Now, it didn't exactly look like Peggy, but who knows? This would persist for a few minutes before a disembodied tapping noise would count to 6. Again, this happened every time, and I gained enough energy and free will to convulse my body and break the sleep paralysis.
Nice.
Apparently, movement is ultimately what stops these occurrences, which is a helpful hint for anyone that might experience it.
That's why when you just move a finger or move a toe or something
you just
minute,
concentrate to try and get the stuff around it. Like, I usually do like a finger, and then it starts moving another finger, and then I get my hand, and once I get my hand, I'm like, I'm going to throw this limb as hard as I can.
But then
in one
you
direction.
end up like tugging your whole body, right? Because it's like a big jerking motion.
I've fallen off the bed trying to break out of sleep paralysis before. As if by happenstance, 2019 has also been an awful year for me. I have grown apart from many of my closest friends due to compromising circumstances. I have lost my job, and just generally people have been jerks this year. Maybe it's some kind of bad luck the doll brings along with her, or just coincidence. Either way, I should have another job sorted come January 2020, which is when we're reading this, and I sincerely hope you do.
Yeah.
So that's something positive. I am happy to report that, as of October this year, it didn't happen on the night of the 25th, and 2 months without incident leads me to believe that she might be done toying with me. As a matter of due diligence, however, I have mentioned her a lot in this email, and would just like to say, Peggy, I respect you, and as much as I, quote, enjoyed our little dates, please leave me alone and never come back.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, due to time zones, it's unlikely I will be able to catch the homegrown horror live stream. Maybe one day, but thanks for reading, and I'm really curious about what you guys think. Keep on creeping on, and don't get cursed by demon dolls. Addie. P.S. If you ever do a live tour, don't forget about your friends in the UK. We won't, because I really
want to go to the UK. I really, really, really want to go to the UK so bad. I was looking up tickets to London today. I was actually looking at cruises in Europe, but they all leave out of like Spain, different parts in Spain, or from Hamburg, Germany, or something like that. And I was like, I just want to go to London. Maybe check out Scotland and Ireland. But
definitely Scotland, because we have to stay at that
or we should just do like a whole month off. No, I wish.
If this was our job, I would 100%
I would take a whole month off. And
I would do several months where we're just traveling. No, I couldn't be away from my dogs.
No, I couldn't be away from my
I
dog.
would do like a month on, a month off, a month on, a month off.
We'd have to take them with us. No, it'd be really fun to travel, but obviously...
Just saying, January Patreon push, you want to make that shit happen.
Yep.
Go to patreon.com right now and help us get a monthly payment that can pay our motherfudging bills. All right, let's get into this email. They said they wanted to hear what we had to say. I think it's unlikely that you were cursed via image just from doing a little bit of research. I don't know if her reach...
I don't think so.
Is that far? Or she's that powerful type of thing?
I did do an episode about that cursed painting, that anytime anybody looked at it, it was just like they had this horrible, horrible feeling. I didn't necessarily get that from the painting, but I only looked at a picture on the internet, so maybe that's not the case. But... I mean, I've done topics like that where weird things have happened from these paintings. Maybe this isn't the particular case for you. It might be how you're sleeping, for sure, because having your head lifted up like that maybe constricts some type of airway, or something.
Maybe you're like shifting in your sleep to get to that position.
Or something in your spine.
I think just in general, the fear of the thing is probably feeding in on itself.
Subconsciously.
It's like that vicious loop.
Yeah.
And it might just be a little bit of the fact that it's a really, really creepy thing. And the more it happens, the more afraid you get of it.
Or it's
and the more you're like thinking it's going to happen, which eventually leads to it happening.
Or it's like that Maggie Q movie where you learn about the thing and then it just knows you and it's going to go after you until it murders you. JK, LOL. But that's what the movie is about.
What is it called?
I forget.
It's like sleep paralysis.
It's called sleep paralysis or something like it. But Maggie Q, I'm sure if you look up her IMDb, you can find something on it, because it was a good movie. I just wish I could remember what it was called.
It wasn't bad. As far as cheesy horror flicks go,
Yeah.
it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm not saying that I discount your experience whatsoever. I wouldn't put you in the category of cursed. I would put you in the category of scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hope I'm right about that, because I could be 100% wrong, and that sucks. So follow up with us on any of our social medias and let us know if it's gone away, and if you got that job. I'm sincerely interested to know whether or not things turned around in 2020, because it is a brand new decade, and it's always nice to get started off on the right foot.
Yeah.
So
thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Just want to let everybody know that we are doing a whole bunch of different, not a whole bunch, we're doing a couple California events this year, and hopefully a Las Vegas event coming up later on this year. But I'll be in Buena Park next month, February 15th, day after Valentine's Day, at Buena Park at the Source. It's going to be a whole anime sale, artist alley thing. And then in April, I think the weekend of the 16th is going to be another event, and that's going to be Anime Pasadena, so we're going to be in Pasadena. Never been. It'll be interesting.
So you guys can come out for the anime stuff, or you can come out to say hi to us. Either way.
Yeah, and just hang out with us, whatever.
I would like to say that there's a lot of folks who join us live when we do these episodes, and it's really, really fun. And thank you so much to everyone who joins us live. And if you don't, that's not a big deal. However, I will say that there's this thing I sing sometimes. It's a song, and it's silly. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. So if you don't know, then you don't know. But it's called the Baby Pill Song. And so they made me sing it tonight. And
you gotta go watch it on YouTube.
You gotta go watch it on YouTube. However, Glitch Grim has reviewed the song, and he says that song fucks.
Oh my god.
So basically, the show couldn't have gone any better, because that's pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, thank you so much for everybody who joins us. Thank you so much who supports us. We're going to change the schedule a bit for our live shows, because school starts for me next week. And so we can't do Wednesdays, because my class doesn't even get out till 7. So it's not
it'll either be Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Yeah, it's going to be Tuesdays or Thursdays. We're going to figure that out.
Basically, if it's Thursdays, I will be giving up my D&D game.
So I feel like we should just do it on Tuesday, so you don't have to give up D&D.
I agree, but Tuesdays, I don't know if they'll work out. So we'll sit down, we'll talk about it, and we'll pick, and it'll most likely be Tuesdays. So we'll figure that out. That said, I want to thank everyone who sent their stories into us tonight. A lot of times, someone even mentioned it tonight, you don't tell anyone the story because you don't want people to treat you like you're crazy. And I sincerely appreciate that you send those types of stories to us, because we never want you to think that we think you're full of shit. And we don't want to treat you like that and treat you like we're mocking you or anything like that. So thank you so much for letting this be your safe place to come to and send that stuff into. And if you have a story that you'd like to send us, you can email storytime@scaryish.com. Go to our website, scaryish.com, and click on Contact Us, or go to any of our social medias and reach out to us that way. Facebook is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. I almost said facebook.com/thispodcastfucks.
Stop!
Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Please feel free to use that hashtag as frequently as you want in any of our social medias in any various forms, because it's just really funny, and it makes me giggle, and it makes Robin cringe, which is really what the entire dynamic of this show is. It's
like when people always say Quispy, and I say Quispy, and Adam's just like, I hate this Quispy.
This is my Quispy. My Quispy is this blank fucks. So please go ahead and use that. So awesome, Robin. For folks who would like to donate to us monetarily, how can they do so?
You can go to Patreon.com.
January Patreon pool.
Stop it. Patreon.com/scaryish podcast. Those are monthly donations. You get ad-free episodes on there, early access, discount codes to our shops, multiple. We got Teespring, we got Etsy, we got Streamlabs. I don't ever give out discount codes for Streamlabs, though, because the margins are awful. But yeah, so we do discount codes on there. I've posted like phone back like wallpapers or stuff like that. But yeah, check it out. It is just another level of joining our community. You can do coffee, ko-fi.com/scaryish podcast. Those are one-time donations. All those donations help us upgrade our studio setup and have been able to help us upgrade a lot of stuff, like get new mics, get new cameras. We still haven't got new lights. We'll get there. We've been able to upgrade our computer because...
Full disclosure, when we go to order those fucking lights, they're typically sold out. And I'm not upgrading to a different level of light that's like $400 for a backlight. I'm not spending your guys' money that way. I want to be frugal and responsible. So we'll get them eventually, but we got the ones that are in front of us right now, which is pretty good. So
any support is absolutely amazing. We've gotten so many new patrons, and you guys are awesome. So.
I'm just laughing because so many of you folks tell other people about our podcast, and I can't imagine how annoying that is to other people when you're just like, you really need to listen to this podcast. Emanon just redeemed and asked a question. It says, last interruption, hashtag Zach Baggins fucks. No, this is a good thing.
Zach Baggins does not fuck.
He does not fuck. Zach Baggins doesn't fuck. So
it's hashtag Zach Baggins does not fuck.
I imagine when you folks are trying to tell people, they're like, what's the podcast like? Is it good? You're like, that podcast fucks. So that's the context that should be used in. But I do think that we're pretty much at the end of the show. I don't think we have any other plugs to toss in there. Robin, can you think of any other stuff?
No, just check out our Etsy store. We got a lot of new stuff in. New stickers, new pins. Please check out the new hard enamel pins. I've posted a whole lot of pictures about them. People have been posting about them. You guys are so great. Go ahead and purchase them on our Etsy shop. Etsy.com/shop/Robin's Kawaii
so
Corner.
Many hashtags
I know.
going through the chat
just
right now.
Go to our website, Scaryish.com. There's a link on the bottom. Just check out our website. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there. It gets updated once a week, I think. But just go check out what we have on there. And thank you.
Yeah. That's everything we have for episode 101. So,
yeah.
Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.